Message to Paul Unslaved. You sat here and you sat there and you proved to me you're a hypocrite. You said you was going to let me up. We was going to have a good conversation. That's what you wanted. A good, adult conversation, intelligent adult conversation. You didn't act like an adult. You acted like a 4-year-old child. You called me. You. I guess it was me that you couldn't see my picture. Google was hiding me from you. StreamYard, when I went up in it, dropped me down. Something went wrong. They didn't say you dropped me down. Went in it again, dropped me down. Something went wrong. Finally went in it again. You let me in right away. And then you said, never mind. I was going to make sure my audio was clear because my audio messes up on my phone. Sometimes it's clear and it works. If I turn the mic off, then after that it goes to shit. Or it may go to shit if I'm getting into a good topic like residents. In order to be a resident of a state, you have to be an agent, employee, and or an officer with authority working for the state. Therefore, you got to have a post office address attached to you, because you work for an agency that has an address attached to it. Belongs to the post office. Post office belongs to the military. You can look all this up. Everything's ran through the post office. Email ran through the post office protocol. Post office protocol. Look it up. Learn it. Everything's ran, all data, all information. Post. Everything you post goes to the post office for records keeping. Anything you put out on video, you post that video out, it goes to records keeping. It's a record. So when you make a public announcement, taking yourself out of their system and saying, I'm not this, I'm not that, this is me, this is my new name I created that you cannot turn into a corporation. I denounce that other last name that I had that turned me into a corporation through the birth certificate. I cannot be a U.S. citizen when I'm born. It's impossible. I have to sign an application or contract to become a U.S. citizen. Only way you can become a U.S. citizen. You don't do that. So, all this is what's giving them ownership of you. Same thing as a U.S. citizen. You have to be an agent, employee, and or officer with authority working for the United States government to be a U.S. citizen. 18 U.S. Code 911 and 912. Anyone who pretends to be a U.S. citizen, an agent, employee, officer with authority for the United States government or a state shall be fined or imprisoned or both. You go to jail for saying you're a U.S. citizen when you're not. You go to jail when you say you're a resident of a state when you're not. It is Texas the state. That's what you live in, not the state of Texas. The state of Texas is under legality. So when you say, I live in the state of Texas, well, they got jurisdiction over you now. You're not saying you live in Texas, the state. Texas, that is the state. I don't live in this state of Texas. What's this state of? What is this state that is of Texas that you're trying to put me inside of? You question their stuff. You question their words, their phrases. What does this mean, driver, to you? What's your definition? They won't tell you. What's your definition of a commercial driver license? They really don't want to tell you. They don't want you to know you don't have to have one. Your vehicle or your automobile is not classified by any business as a commercialized business vehicle that has to be titled and registered and inspected and whatever else, because it's under a commercial business. It's attached to a commercial business. Are you attached to a commercial business, and then is your vehicle attached to a commercial business? And are you being paid to drive your vehicle around? That's a commercialized vehicle. You're being paid to drive that vehicle to deliver stuff. If you're not keeping a record of your mileage, you are not in a commercialized vehicle. Therefore, you do not have to have a driver license. You have to be keeping a record. You have to have a record book with you, keeping a record of your mileage. If you can't give that to them, you're not in their jurisdiction under the UCC law or codes. See, those are the codes that apply to us, or are supposed to apply to us, but don't. Those are the ones that are applying to us. The codes that's outside of their U.S. codes, that's theirs, that they have to abide by. When you learn them, you learn how to get out of their system. These courts out here are administrative courts. They're not seen as judicial courts of law. They're administrative courts. The so-called judges are administrative clerks. You can look all this up. Our judges, our local judges, administrative clerks. And they'll pull it up. This is all they are. They're not judges given judicial power. This is maritime law where you're under military tribunal trials so they can make money. These are tribunals. You're guilty because we say so, and you're going to give us what we want, or you're going to be thrown in our little dungeons to punish you because you can't even afford to give us money, or put you on probation to work for us as a slave because you didn't have and give us what we want you to have and give us. That's what slavery is. All these soldiers in the past that died against oppression and slavery, they died in vain because of you, Paul. You don't want to learn all the truth. You don't want to learn more. You want to start hating. Start acting like a 4-year-old child, a Karen. Making fun of people and calling them names. Grow the fuck up. Down. Calm the fuck down. Be a man. Stop crying. Bitching. Whatever you want to call it. Complaining. It's all the same. No matter what word you put on it. You're bitching and complaining. But, I'm not going on to your stuff anymore the way you treated me. I wouldn't sit at your table because I'd see how you'd treat me at your fucking table. Bye. Take care.